values are a key part of what makes us Pendo, and our original values really helped build the culture until this point. But it's valuable not to stay stagnant with those values and to constantly revisit, refresh, look at areas to help carry us to the future. This process has been one where I think we've maintained the fabric of our values, but also gave us an opportunity to refresh, adjust, and add in areas that we think can help scale us for the future.
We were very intentional about culture. So we set core values very quickly. We've changed one of them, I think, and reworded it, but overall they're the same core values we've had for the seven and a half years we've been doing this. And that culture was really about innovation. It was about a lot of honesty. It was about not shying away from hard conversations, being very open with each other and having difficult conversations at the right moment.
I think the culture that I wanted was one of transparency, right? Doing it different, right? Being very transparent from what we did at the board meeting all the way down, right? Just being very open and transparent, because if everybody had the same knowledge, they can make better decisions and contextual decisions as well.
You can put a lot of decisions in front of a culture test. Like, does it fit our culture? Does it feel right? You know, we have a value, maniacal focus on the customer. So you could look at some of our strategic direction decisions and say, is that in the best interest? Does that fit this core value of maniacal focus on the customer? And use that as a gauge for decision making.
One of my biggest decisions to come to Pendo was based on not just who Pendo was, but what we wanted to become and how we wanted to grow into that. And the fact that our 4 founders, not 1 or 2, 4 founders leaned in to opening up the box and looking at our values with a new people leader off the bat, given how much they cared about them, that was a big deal for me.
So we started this process at our annual company kickoff, and we did a survey with all of our employees to just get an understanding of how they felt about our values and their understanding of how these values show up. And then we developed a working group, and this was a group of that was cross-functional. We had people from across the company, across our global offices, at different tenure levels, different titles, and we brought that group together. They looked at the data from all of our employees, and we tried to find common themes. We tried to figure out, what are stories of how our values show up? How does this make us who we are? And what's missing? And we really wanted to just strengthen our existing values that our founders created and make sure that we were all aligned and we were all consistent in how we talked about those and how we scale those as our company grows.
We did a full bottoms up, getting feedback from 555 people, I think it was at that time. What's working about our values, what isn't, what doesn't make sense, what's new. I mean, we had probably half the company brand new. Not everyone's gonna get the intention behind these values when we started.
Pendo is a growing organization. So as we invite more people into the company, we will diversify. And it's possible that the core values that we decided when we were a company of 100 people don't apply to a company of 1,000 people and more. So it's important to make sure that we have a sense check from time to time to make sure that we're incorporating these changes into our values.
I learned that there's a difference between what helps you be good at your job and what makes you feel like you're a part of the community. And of course, there's an overlap, right? We want people to be good at their jobs because they're a part of the community. But at the end of the day, the goal of these values is really about creating a work environment that we want to be part of, that feels safe and supportive to us as humans, and not just about being the most productive employees or resources.
A very challenging customer came to us with a difficult ask. And working with my peers, we found out that we didn't really have a solution that existed currently at Pendo. And so what we did is we put our heads together and collaborated on building a solution to then take back to that customer. And it ended up being the right solution, which helped us understand and validate that bias TAC was a really important value at Pendo.
Hitting the point that we're growing, so many different people are going to be joining our team. We're going to be coming in contact with so many different customers. Cultures are different, norms are different, backgrounds are different, and it's so valuable to take that time to get to know each other, ask questions, ask for clarity, and move forward as individuals and as a company. And so I'm really excited to see if we can add a value, or if we have added value about teamwork and being inclusive and learning from each other.
So recently we started a tradition in the Israeli office every week, and we have the Pendo Radio, which is an hour every week that we all come together on Zoom and listen to music together. And it's really fun and brings people together. And I think it's an amazing example of showing promote outside of work value. And you can see it really succeed. And we can see it today in the town halls, and people enjoy it. And I think it's really, really, really fun.
So before I even applied for Pendo, I looked through and evaluated the values, and a number really stood out to me. And for me, it gave Pendo the edge. So when I think about applying for Pendo, applying for business, the values really mean a lot. And since then, since I've joined, you can see the values every single day in people's actions, the decision-making, the business, all levels, all the way down to the most junior to the most senior members of the team. And especially in a growing part of the organization, I'm based over here in London in our European office. It's so important for us to live and breathe these every day to make us feel connected to the wider business and our values.
Thanks to all who are part of this process. We're excited to unveil revitalized values which maintain to the fabric, I think, of the original ones, but really have some small adjustments and additions to help carry us to the future.